Last video, we talked about the four rightly guided rulers after Muhammad, the creation of the Umayyad dynasty, the spread of Islam to North Africa. Today, we'll move on and talk more about what's going on inside Islam. Schism. As the Muslim community, or Ummah, grew, tensions did too. A broader style of governance was needed to manage the Arab and non-Arab converts. While all the Muslims agreed that there should be a single head in the community, there was disagreement over the style and qualifications of such a leader. Some believed the Ummah should be led by someone from a different family than that of Muhammad, someone who was a good Muslim and respected elders. Others felt the Ummah should be led by someone endowed with spiritual qualities who governed according to Muhammad's vision of a godly society on earth. The Alids, or those who belonged to the party of Ali, Shi'at, Ali, or Shia, objected to what they perceived as the Umayyads' propensity to establish a court with royal institutions and a royal family. They were particularly incensed by Muawiyah's decision to pass the caliphate to his son in 680. Instead, they believed the position should be reserved for the descendants of Muhammad himself through the bloodline of his daughter and her husband, Ali, specifically to their son Hussein. With Ali's youngest son Hussein at its head, a small band of Shia marched from their base in southern Iraq to the city of Karbala in open defiance of the Umayyad government. The group, which included women and children, was met by hundreds of troops and a bloody massacre on the 10th day of the month of Muharram, called the day of Ashura, or 10th in Arabic. The Umayyad army slaughtered and tortured Hussein's party and paraded the heads of 72 of their victims through the town. The event later became known as the point at which Islam divided into Sunni, those who follow the Sunnah or tradition of Muhammad, and the Shia, who from then on revered their own line of successors or imams. Most Shia Muslims today follow those in the line of succession of the family of Muhammad through Ali, Hussein, and the eight of Hussein's descendants. The last or 12th descendant was born in 868. Is believed to have gone into hiding at the age of 5 to protect him from persecution at the hands of the Abbasid authorities. He is expected to return as the Messiah, or Mahdi, on the day of judgment at the end of times to establish justice and peace throughout the world by establishing Islam as a global religion. Today, about 90% of Muslims worldwide follow Sunni Islamic traditions, with Shia as the remaining 10%. Both observe the 5 basic tenets of Islam, but differ slightly in their religious practices and beliefs. Shia commemorate the martyrdom of Hussein during Ashura and make regular pilgrimages to the holy Shia city of Karbala, where Hussein was killed, and Najaf, where the first Imam Ali was entombed, in Iraq. While both Sunnis and Shias venerate and study the Quran as the word of God spoken to Muhammad through the angel Gabriel, the two groups have different views on the authenticity of books written about Muhammad's life and teachings, collectively called Hadith. In 711, a small force of Muslims, 300 Arabs, 6,700 Berber Africans, who are Moors, a term coined much later, are Muslims of mixed Arab and Berber descent. The name came from the Greek Moros, meaning dark complexion. Morocco, Algeria, and to a lesser degree Tunisia, correspond to the lands of the Moors. In Spain, Arabs are still called Moros. Arabs, who later outwardly accepted Christianity, were called Moriscos. So, in 711, a small force of Muslims, mostly these Berber Moors, landed in Gibraltar on the Spanish coast and defeated the Visigoth king. The Muslim occupiers moved north across the Iberian Peninsula to the Pyrenees without much resistance from the local populace. Many Visigoth nobles unwillingly Many Visigoth nobles unwilling to adopt Islam or live under Islamic rule moved north to the Frankish Empire. By 718, most of the peninsula, called Andalusia, by the Muslim conquerors, had come under Muslim rule, who continued to pay tribute to the Arab Caliph in Damascus, Syria. The Spanish Jews welcomed the Muslims as their liberators from the Visigoths, who were intolerant and persecuted the Jews. The Jews enjoyed the golden age of development under Moorish rule for the next 500 years. The decline of the Umayyad dynasty. Well, there's a whole lot more non Arabs than there are Arabs. So, in the beginning of the Muslim territorial expansion, most of the religion's adherents were Arabs, with only a few non Arabs joining the community as guests of the Arab tribes. As the Muslim empire grew, however, so did the number of Iraqi, Persian, Egyptian, Syrian, and other non Arabs who increasingly resented the client dependency established in the early days of Islam. There's another reason for the Umayyads to decline, and it was problems in leadership. With the ascension of Muawiyah's son Yazid to caliph after his father's death, the Umayyads initiated a hereditary monarchy, previously unseen in the Islamic community. As in most hereditary dynasties, the sons of the caliph were not always as competent or idealistic as their fathers. Umayyad leaders were notorious for their personal ambition and for pursuing pleasures considered degenerate by pious Muslims. Anger over racism in the empire and disgust with the tyrannical profligate leadership resulted in riots and general unrest around the empire until 750, when the Arab chieftain Abbas al-Saffah turned the discontent to his advantage. And we'll talk more about that next time. Here are a few discussion questions.